Good morning, everyone. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I have my oldest daughter and three grandchildren coming today. I've got to make the cookie. But this is dessert day, right? Making desserts for. Right? I guess I'm a bit old school. I make everything from scratch. I love making things from scratch. I remember, I have to tell the story. My good friend Nancy Hewitt, Sissy, if you're watching this, we had wonderful times cooking for our brothers and sisters all over the world sometimes. And I remember we were part of we were the two chefs for the prayer breakfasts in the church in well, I forgot the name of the town in California. uh, Come on now, San Leandro. Yes. Uh, what's his name? Kevin Thompson. He's still the pastor there. Love his wife. She's just an amazing little woman. Yes. Well, anyway, so I remember we would go and shop the day before and then drive to we all had children, okay? So, yeah, sometimes you had to take them with you. But anyway, so we would go shopping and then, go late in the evening and put all the stuff there, then go home, and then you knew you had to be back at the church at 5 a.m. to get started because, again, yes, yeah, everything was done from scratch. Everything was done from scratch. And I'm coming, honey. Maddie. We might be getting another dog. A big one, too. He's going to be big. A mix between a Rottweiler, a Great Pyrenees, and a poodle. That'll be interesting. Probably first thing I have to teach him to not kill our chickens. That's a simple way to do that. Anywho, so yeah, I don't will not have to beat the dog or this or that. I learned how a female dog disciplines her pups, and you do that and they remember. Somehow they just remember. Yeah, or it's in their DNA, I don't know. So that's what I do. Oh, so what is that? If you have a dog that misbehaves, even at at their playgrounds, the dog runs this that. If as soon as he misbehaves and you take the dog and you turn it over on its back, then it exposes its belly, and you just grab it by the neck. Don't choke it to death, okay? Grab it by the neck and you just look at it, get its attention, and say no. It doesn't have to be a big old. Huh? Dogs don't respond to a whole lot of noise, but you get there and then you let it go. Sometimes you have to do it 2 or 3 times. But that's it. If you do it right, that's it. Just like a rooster sometimes. I've heard of many mean roosters. We had some here too. Ah, man, I didn't know what to do except for taking them out. But then someone, an old timer here, told us all you have to do is put some gloves on, grab the rooster. Mean roosters, they have no fear to get right up to you. Okay, that's fine. Remember, they're just teeny tiny little birds, basically. Yeah, they got some sharp beaks, but hey, come on now, right? And grab it by the feet and hold it upside down till the blood all rushes to their head and they're nice and quiet. Don't have to say a thing. Nothing at all. Just hold them there. Then you let them go. And they'll never do that to a human being again. Yeah, it's true. I did it. It works. Okay. Right. Yeah. Can things be done without violence? Absolutely and 100%. Well, how does that work? Faith. You're going to have some faith. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So, I'm going to read a prayer out of this book. I don't even know where I started now, but I guess this is where it went. Yeah. That's how it's just starting to get light here. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful here. The skeleton trees, that's when the trees have lost all their leaves. It's just beautiful. You can see things you weren't able to see before. Our pine trees now, they've got some brown stuff going on again. I'm not worried about it. That's just their way and what they're doing, whatever's going on out there, right? Yes? Look how beautiful it is out there. Oh my gosh. Please let us have minds and bodies of oneness centered on the will. Beloved Father, our minds have all sorts of forms and figures, but please let your character appear in our daily lives, and please allow us to become beings of righteousness, who are able to move when you move, and who are able to be still when you are still. What did I just say before, right? Yes. I found that when God is in your life, our Heavenly Father, a Heavenly Parent, that spiritual entity that everything began with, right? For some people, that sounds better until they can actually really receive that entity, that spiritual entity that is so full of absolute goodness and positivity into their heart. They sometimes need a different, they can't accept that just yet as a father figure per se, as the subject figure of everything. One has to give people time. But as we keep teaching, as we keep teaching that, then it's going to happen. I believe that with all my heart. I'm only going to have so much time here. I'm going to have to keep giving it all that I have for that. Since you know, Father, that we who are weak are kneeling down before you and are going towards the heavenly castle, even if our bodies are blocking the mercy of our eternal Father, by being trapped in secularity, please allow your external form to appear through our minds and bodies, by our bodies subjugating everything that is secular. Please act, Father, so to let us be able to feel through our minds and the sense through our bodies that the will of that kind of providence and the grace of the providence and the love the providence are connected with us. That is, I think, how I started this up. There's one thing that sometimes people just disappoint us. Left and right and right and left. And it's so confusing sometimes, okay? And I'm going to end up all alone. If I stick with, that's okay. You're never alone. You will never be alone. It's not going to happen. I'm here alone sometimes. It's almost what you really wish for. It doesn't happen, right? And it's the give and take with nature, the give and take with the principles of creation, and that can happen in the city as well. I've said this before. I lived for 18 years in Berkeley, California, three different places. Well, whatever nature there wasn't there, I just brought it right into the house or into the garden or into it wasn't because it wasn't there. It just, I had to make planted a redwood tree in the backyard after our fourth child was born. I don't know if it's still there. Huh? Are you cold? You want to go back in now? Okay, all right. I'll put you back in. Get this. Yeah, she's got. Okay, come on. She has a short, and she doesn't have a whole big old coat. So it's cold out here. She wanted to go back in. Why would I disregard her plea? Hey, let me back in. Can you let me back in? Right? Yes. So we had, even in the city, we had goats, rabbits, chickens, cats and dogs, of course. Not cats. I don't think I had a cat in the city. Dogs, always dogs. I believe in dogs. That's better than anything to keep certain people off your property. It works. It really does. I got my Christmas cups out there. Yeah. You got the Christmas blues going? Get yourself a real nice Christmas cup. Yes. Wonderful. Anywho, that's one way that where you connect. That's the first that God created, was the creation. Yes. And anyone can. Some people don't even realize. I saw a post recently with someone that had orchids and they were blooming, Wow, you know how to do that? I've had orchids here, they never bloomed. I mean, the wild ones did out there, which I found, but the ones that I got, no, never bloomed. I don't have that thumb, I guess, but others do. So even in a small space, kind of experiment. What does your soul, what does your spirit, what kind of plant does it respond to that you're amazing at growing that. I can't grow a cabbage. I just can't. For some reason, cabbages just don't like me. Maybe I don't like cabbages. I like to eat cabbage. I'm not a big fan of sauerkraut, though. Oh. Okay. I'm just saying, right? Yes. I think that often people lose faith, or their faith is so stagnant and all that. It's because they haven't really found what God gave them in their DNA, spiritual DNA. Can't be measured now, can it? Yeah. Or figured out, or this or that. Find what you in your spiritual DNA, what you just absolutely can embrace, and that responds to you 100% differently than in other people's lives, like growing a cabbage or growing orchids, having them bloom. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I see people liking birds in a cage. Wow, that's quite something. Why would anyone put something that should fly around free in a cage, or tie it to a stand or something? Don't you think that's awfully cruel? And yet, right? Yes, I couldn't even keep my rabbits in a cage. Couldn't do that either. So I built them down here onto the porch. They could dig in, this, that, and I made a little fence so they couldn't get out. But it was all halfway out to the yard, and they loved it. They didn't want to escape. Why would they? Right? They had everything they needed, and somehow knew they were protected. They had, and I could keep the males with the females. They took care of their family together, and I had the biggest meat rabbits you could imagine. Oh yeah, don't go there. I knew what I raised them for. But until the time came to end up on my table or someone else's table, they had a wonderful life. Yes. You see the difference? Okay. Oh. Yes. All right. Maybe some do. It's a difficult thing to understand God's point of view in many different things. But once you start to understand, oh dear me, it's God's day every day. We feel that today also our minds are running towards absolute goodness. But our bodies are counter-attacking our minds continuously in order to obtain secular things. Well, what did I just talk about? I feel like True Father's just, okay, yes, I second that motion. Yeah, yeah, ahead of time, up, yeah, after, I'm reading. Therefore, Father, please allow our minds and bodies to become one centered on your will. We earnestly hope and desire, Father, that you will completely remove the footholds through which Satan can work in our minds and bodies by breaking down the distance between your heart and our hearts. That's another thing, too. Don't ever look at someone else's life, including true parents' life, including the true children's lives. So just don't ever look at anybody else's life and say, well, but, aha, because that is not none of our concern. That is not our problem. Our problem is our concern should be, what's my life, my family's life? What do I need to restore? Where do I need to go with that? What is actually right and wrong? You see? We don't get to do that or assume for someone else's family as someone else's lineage, per se. You see? Yes? Yeah. Until today, heaven has sought to embrace and love our bodies, which were centered on our minds, but we still have not been able to appear as complete object partners of beauty in the presence of the internal character and external form of the innermost heart of our Father. When I see the principles of creation embracing me as I try to embrace them, oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing. It's absolutely the most beautiful thing. That's all I have to say to that one. Pooh. We know that this causes historical sorrow and lamentation, since these are minds and bodies which cannot help but kneel down before you, and are minds and bodies that have been stained by sin, and are inadequate minds and bodies. We are longing to be filled by your overflowing grace. Father, please take hold of all of our minds and bodies now. Midnight. Chick, chick, chick. She's still here. That chicken that got hurt. She's still hanging around. Sometimes she comes in the house. I just let her be. But we have Thanksgiving coming up, so I just cleaned up everything in the house. She does poop in the house, which I do clean up every day. But yeah, I've got other things to do besides clean up chicken poop right now. But she's doing good. I'm waiting for that first egg. Gonna lay an egg for us? Come on, girl. Come on. You gonna come over here? Midnight. Anyway, the children, they love her, and she loves to be held. It's so funny. What a nice way, huh? For children, a chicken. Yeah, you can't go and grab any of the chickens out there unless I lock them up in the chicken coop. But this one, up close and personal, right, for the children. Besides that, a couple of them, a niece of mine and my oldest granddaughter, kind of probably due to their love, they've given that little baby, teeny tiny little chick hurt this, that the love that they did for a few days. No doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that saved him. Oh, so back to Nancy and her story for a moment, or our story. So then at 5 o'clock in the morning, we'd be there. And of course, here I'm going to da-da-da. And there was always more sisters coming to help out a little later. Or I'd grab one and say, hey, can you come in? Okay. It always worked out. Nancy had this way of sticking with one dish. Sometimes. And I just got, Okay, you're about done with that? Been working on it for 2 hours now. And it was one of those. I knew that she'd had her own. Why not let someone do their own thing, per se? That was fast enough. I could get home dinner and breakfast and whatever. I could always get it done. It always worked out. Right? But her dishes, because of the way she prepped them, right? With no doubt the prayer and love or whatever she was doing, cut it perfect. Now, people flocked to her dishes. I remember one time. I thought, well, fruit salad, I guess it is for everyone this morning. It's the care. It isn't the amount. It isn't the amount or the speed we put into something. It's the care we put into something. Truly, the care. Right? Okay, well, obviously, we couldn't do that with every dish, right? Yes? Okay, but there was the one. That's all it took. For then that just amazing, beautiful, loving, caring energy to float through the whole banquet. It was enough. You see? Faith. I had to have faith. Okay, now, I know you're putting something into that dish, right? And she always did. The food always, all the dishes came out wonderful. Always. No one ever got sick. You see? That's a great blessing for a cook. Yeah. All right. Some people might not understand that. So let's read that. Which are longing to be filled by your overflowing grace. Father, please take hold of all of our minds and bodies now. Please let us be able to appear as people who return joy to your internal character and respond to your mind. Here we go again. All righty, thanks, guys. Obviously, very well guided from Spirit World. Now, please allow us to be able to kneel down in front of your majesty and return glory to you by having the standard of hope for which you have longed for 6,000 years. And we earnestly hope and desire, beloved Father, that you will allow this to become a time when we can reveal your internal character to you, so that you will be able to rest. What do we look forward to in our children as they grow up? Yes, to see the better in them of us. Yes, okay. We know the fact that all the ideologies the rhythm of a word, the rhythm of ideologies, doctrines, and the rights that the people have, all these things will disappear. They will. But we earnestly hope and desire, Father, that you will let us have in our minds power which comes and explodes anew and eyes of resurrection through our minds and bodies having entered into the fundamental position which can exist eternally. And please let us cast aside our daily life centered on ourselves, and please guide us to lead our daily life centered on the cosmos. There's one thing with Thanksgiving. It's a harvest time. And harvest time isn't always the same every year, right? Yes. But there's always the next year where the harvest can be grown again anew, right? Yes. That's the beautiful thing about the principles of creation. And it's the beautiful thing about the principles of love for us to be willing every year, right, to invest again. I've heard many of people, I'm done, I'm not having a garden anymore, this, that, I'm getting too old. And then the spring hits. And then they're out there plowing again. They can't help it. It's in their spiritual DNA to want to grow something and harvest. The harvest is your goal, right? Yes? Yeah. Every time. I found that so interesting. And I love it. I love it. They're eternal. Their internal character, combined with the character of our Heavenly Father, they can't resist their original nature. Just can't resist springtime, growing time. Right? Yes? Oh, all right. Makes me happy. We earnestly hope and desire, beloved Father, that you will allow us to become able to experience and feel keenly your mind as our mind and your heart as our heart. We have humbly prayed in the name of the Lord. Amen. March 9th, 1958. March 9th. March is when you get really. February, you're going, okay, I should hold off. I should have, unless you have a greenhouse. Which I don't. Okay, February. I could have put out. Oh, mustard greens. Then you say March. But March is really, I think I could take, how many more frosts are we going? I think March 9th, 1958. I wasn't even born yet. Well, anyway, that's what I wanted to share this morning. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there who's celebrating it. It was a new holiday for me as an adult to have to get used to. Just amazed at how much people can eat on a day like that. Number one. Number two, I was amazed on how much people waste on a day like that. Woof. Okay. Regardless, we're going to have a small Thanksgiving here. Yeah. I mean, feast. I said not going to cook the quantity. First of all, it's disrespectful to people who are hungry out there for one reason or another. Number two, nothing will get wasted. There will be nothing wasted of this Thanksgiving. I'm doing this in honor of everyone that is struggling out there. So, but my harvest was great. Even without a store, we would have a great Thanksgiving here. Yeah. And offer what we harvested here. Yes. Even got a deer roast. Yeah. All right. God's love and blessings always, and we'll talk to y'all another time.